All right, so in order to kind of expedite going through all of the 15-minute PDs, I decided to flip a couple so that we could get to the ones that you guys requested the most. The one that I'm going to talk about right now on this little podcast is going to be the biggest mistake that teachers make. Again, this is using the book, The 10-Minute In-Service by Dr. Todd Whitaker and Annette Breault. So last week, kind of your assignment for the week this week was to limit your class rules to 5 or less. We really have 3: safe, responsible, respectful. And then focus on procedures you need to practice. Hopefully you've been able to do that. And during our live session on Thursday, we'll talk about that a little bit. And then hopefully you've had the time to be able to practice with 2 of your most challenging students. And then again, when we actually meet in the live session, we'll spend some time actually talking about how that went, what worked, what didn't work, and maybe get some suggestions from your peers. Again, we talked about being clear exactly what you want when you talk about procedures. Make sure that you give kids the opportunity to practice those, and not always a consequence. So here are some have you evers. This is also, when you look to your left on the screen, it'll have a little quiz for you. And it's basically just to collect some data so that when we meet on Thursday, we can actually talk about it. So answer these 4 questions on the Google form to your left. You guys can pause the video to answer those questions. All right, so what? The biggest mistake that we as teachers make is that we let kids know that they've gotten to us emotionally. And for some of our kids, that's really what they're striving to do. When we show our frustration, in a sense, we've given the students the win. And now we've also created a power struggle in which the kids have won, and now we're raising our voice. We're getting those, veins in our neck, veins in our forehead going, clenched teeth, giving the old teacher eye a little too much. So when you think about that, if that's our biggest mistake, our biggest thing is staying professional. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Number one, we have to understand that it's okay to let our students know that we're disappointed in them, but we need to make sure that we make the difference and understand the difference between we're disappointed in them and their actions and being personally offended by those actions. What the kids do in our classes tend not to be personal, and we have to recognize that and also understand that they have a lot more going on in their lives the same way that we have a lot going on in our lives. Some days we're not in it. There's going to be days when they're not in it as well. We also need to understand that, again, it's important that we hold students accountable for their actions. If you joined us last week when we talked about procedures, giving kids the opportunity to practice procedures is really key. The key is also to hold students accountable in a professional, non-emotional manner. As soon as you bring your emotion into it, as soon as they see that you're being emotional about it, they're going to get emotional about it. Later I'll do a podcast that will actually talk about the no screaming policy and basically never raising your voice to children, because number one, it's actually anti-productive the majority of the time. All right, so here's a couple of examples. Again, this is on your quiz on the left. When you took the 4 different scenarios early on, the 4 questions early on, you should have been able to hit the next button. If you haven't already done that, hit the next button. And I want you to leave some comments about these. Now I should bring the comments to our session on Thursday, and I'll have my comments and stuff in there. So take some time, hit pause right now, and you can actually answer those questions. All right, so now what? Look at the comments, and this will be something that we'll do in the session. This week, what I'm going to ask you to do as a part of our professional development series is I want you to not let kids get you emotionally. And I want you to document 2 ways. And actually on Friday, I'll kind of tweak this page and I'll add another form at the bottom that will allow you to document your 2 ways, and then that way we can actually comment and share as well. So you'll come back to the same webpage that you're on right now and be able to do that. That's it for our flip. Hopefully you guys watch this, and hopefully we can discuss it in our session tomorrow.